There's something strange circulating about the mechanics in Black Ops 6, and I think there is literally only one reason and one reason only why developers are even considering taking this approach. Some players think movement is an issue in Black Ops 6. Let's go ahead and peel a few layers back here. If this is your first time here, welcome, and if you are returning, welcome back. Feel free to light up the comment section as you go along. And I do want to add, none of this is confirmed. It is still strictly speculation right now, but from the looks of things, this will probably happen. So some players feel like sliding is currently too OP, allowing for an advantage of some sort, sliding around corners with spontaneous attacks with minimal penalty. If we were having this conversation a couple of months ago, maybe, heavy on the word maybe, I would kind of agree. But we have spent all of this time in the game adapting to this new movement system, which I think adapting is a problem for a certain group of individuals, if you know what I mean. And for the most part, I am not talking about casual players. Not only is it rumored that sliding will get a nerf, but I heard a thing or two about movement getting nerfed as a whole. I don't know about you guys, but it did seem that there was a slight movement nerf at the start of Season 2. I found myself raising my sensitivity and using more weapon attachments that favor movement over weapon accuracy. In the Season 2 patch notes, developers stated that they are monitoring Omni movement feedback. Evidently, this has led to cause for a nerf, as players think it's becoming too dominant. So developers want to make it to where there is more predictability for the player that is getting slid on, essentially. I do want to take a second and slightly switch topics though. I don't think movement is a problem whatsoever in Black Ops 6. If anything, it's the map designs. I think we can all agree these maps are pretty mid, and if not mid, then definitely below mid. Do not get me started on bounty and dealership. That is the quote-unquote predictability problem. It's not the movement. The whole middle part of dealership is like one big question mark, and it's damn near the same thing with bounty in more than one part of the map. A map with an older design, such as Hacienda, is what we need more of. It's a good competitive map. Yes, you can definitely get caught if certain things aren't covered, but it's not a shit show like bounty and dealership especially. Movement is not the problem here. Let's go ahead and get back on track though. So a couple of the potential changes are shortened slide duration and a transition delay. So the shortened slide duration to developers will prevent over-reliance on sliding. I don't think anyone really relies on sliding, and I'm a player that doesn't move that much. I think I move when it's necessary, I sprint when it's necessary, slide when it's necessary, dive when it's necessary. I don't find myself sliding all over the place or just moving excessively, period. That's just not my play style, but I am still pro movement here. I could be wrong though, and if you think about it, the person who is sliding doesn't have the upper hand in a lot of situations. Maybe their centering is off, and not only that, in the last few years, it really seems like COD rewarded the more stagnant player. But of course, when you're moving, you're gonna be a harder target to hit. Now, what the transition delay is, while transitioning out of the slide animation, developers are talking about adding a delay. The term they used was a slight delay, but a delay is a delay. This is why the last couple of CODs have felt so weird when it came to input delay. Developers are actively adding delay into the game, calling it balance changes. Why are we slowing things down? This is one thing that I like a lot about Black Ops 6 is the movement. My take is this will have a negative impact on gameplay. Again, why are we slowing down the game? A slide nerf, whatever. But slowing down the overall pace of the game, I don't like that. Again, we all spent a few months learning how to play this game one way or another. Controller players, mouse and keys, we all learn how to play this game. So for some folks, they might have to go back to the drawing board and maybe figure out a whole different way to play the game depending on how severe these nerfs are going to be. But all right, let's talk about the elephant in the room, and you guys can let me know if you agree or disagree. I blame the Warzone community. You guys have been relentless about your thoughts on the movement mechanics, and honestly, I get it. But do we really need to slow everything down to a snail's pace? Warzone is the reason why COD was slowed all the way down in the first place, in my opinion. Modern Warfare 2 was painfully slow. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't multiplayer kids that sit around, lay on their backs and bellies with their dicks in the dirt. That still happens in the multiplayer community. But Warzone flat out ruined Call of Duty multiplayer in my opinion. I said it, might be a hot take, but I will die on that hill. Warzone folks get squad wiped 3 or 4 games in a row, and now they want to come over to multiplayer so they can actually shoot their guns. Not only that, I think Warzone made the cheating problem worse in multiplayer. Once upon a time, everyone was trying to be a Warzone streamer or creator, and everyone started cheating to give off the aesthetic that they were good. And let's not get it twisted. I know there has been cheating in multiplayer before Warzone, but I strongly believe Warzone made it worse. I mean, sure, some of the fast-paced slide-happy movement is a bit too chaotic, But for those of us who dug the art of sliding around the map like niggas on roller skates, this potential nerf could be a real buzzkill. But there has been something weird going on in Call of Duty that I don't think I really noticed until I started making content here on YouTube. It seems like if the casual players complain enough, developers will listen and take what they have to say into consideration. Again, seems that it's usually for the casual players. And no, I'm not hating on casuals whatsoever, but I would think developers want to prioritize their core fan base over folks that only play the game 1 hour a week. So because of that, we might be looking at slower slide speeds, slower slide durations, slower movement, and even a slight delay when transitioning out of a slide animation. I don't think the movement and sliding is excessive in Black Ops 6 at all. Or again, maybe I've just adapted to it like a lot of you folks as well. If folks were sliding around like caffeinated penguins all the time, I would understand. But I promise it is not that excessive. The movement in this game is not excessive whatsoever. I think in every lobby I've played, no matter how much a guy was moving, I don't think it called for a movement nerf whatsoever. We have way bigger fish to fry here in the Call of Duty community. The cheater situation is getting better, yes, but I think developers need to go ahead and keep their noses down and keep hammering that nail. All the weapon restrictions and all that shit, the KSV and other weapons just got restricted out of ranked play today. Now I bet the next time I get on Black Ops 6 ranked play and I call in a hellstorm, I bet my game will still crash. Developers aren't putting focus into what actually matters. My game should not be crashing for getting enough kills for a hellstorm. Not only is my game crashing, I am losing SR. This is just ridiculous. So in summary, my thoughts are the Warzone community, as well as the more casual end of the community, has been pushing for this change, and maybe even pushing isn't even the term I want to use. But it strongly looks like developers are considering what Warzone folks and casual players are saying. If you think the movement nerf is a game changer or game ruiner, let me know in the comments below. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you for sticking around. I'll drop 2 more videos for you on the screen right here. Catch you in the next one.